Alright, so coming off of yesterday's video about John Hu and Xing Pass, uh, I have another opinion, and it's about Raider and Hitokiri. They're in season 12. They're gonna be receiving some changes, and these are some pretty big changes, especially for Raider. Raider is getting a damage nerf. That's one of the changes he's getting, which is absolutely completely fine. There's really nothing to say about that. I've been demanding a damage nerf for the longest time, and it's finally here. But the thing that's got me kind of mixed on it is stunning tap is completely gone. Like it's gone to the point where they're changing the name to storming tap. It won't do stamina damage, it won't pause your stamina, and it's not going to blind you anymore. Which, that's all nice and dandy and stuff like that, because woohoo, like I don't have to deal with that anymore, because it was atrocious at times. But then at the same time, it's also like they took away some of Raiders' uniqueness by removing that, and it feels like they took a very lazy approach to dealing with Raider instead of actually fixing some of the problems, like maybe trying to fix the animations, or maybe reducing the stun duration or something like that, or maybe just removing one of those stamina properties, like removing the stamina pause or reducing the stamina damage or something. They just straight up took everything out, and it's almost like they've completely folded on that issue, which is a little sad. But I understand why they want to reduce frustration and everything, and they got to keep people in the game somehow. So if that's what they got to do, that's what they got to do. But at the same time, it's very saddening to see that it's almost like we're going a step backwards with this. Instead of the devs fixing the problem, they just completely gut the problem, and they made pretty much it's like the Dai Li. They come in, there never was a problem. There's a problem. What problem? It's completely gone. And the biggest thing I'm curious about with this is how Raider will be moving forward. Because moving forward, I think it's going to be. I think, especially since his top heavy or top light after his storming tap is 700 milliseconds, I believe. It's 700 milliseconds, so I doubt that's ever going to be used. So if the only thing you're really going to be able to do from that point is just throw a light or a heavy, and I mean, I guess there are some other things you could do too, like there's the zone and the guard break and everything for some pressure, but we'll just have to see how that all plays out when John Hu and these changes release. But that's not the only thing that caught my attention. The Hitokiri changes also caught my attention, and it feels like with Hitokiri, they've gone. It feels like they folded with Hitokiri too. I don't think they really made these Hitokiri changes with necessarily the game's best interest in mind. I think it was more just to appease, pander, and to calm people down. Cause everybody knows that Hitokiri's hyper armor needed to be adjusted. It absolutely needed to be adjusted. There should be no reason anybody should have instant hyper armor. But we were told that in a dev stream that Hitokiri's hyper armor, based on Yorm's, would most likely be moved to Yorm's 400 milliseconds. So we get 400 millisecond hyper armor on Hitokiri, which perfectly fine. That's absolutely fine, but that's not what we got. We got 500 milliseconds on the striking portion. So if you want to trade with somebody, you really have to be conscious about it, which is fair and everything, because if you are making trades, you should at least be somewhat awake and everything like that. But on the other hand, they didn't deliver on the 400 milliseconds, and it's weird because Yorm still has his 400 millisecond light, or 400 millisecond hyper armor, and after we were told Hitokiri would get something like that, we just didn't get it. And then on top of Hitokiri's hyper armor being moved to 500, uh, Hitokiri's heavy speed and the damage was nerfed. Her heavy speed went from 700 to 800, which I mean, I guess that's fine. I don't think it'll affect her too majorly. And the same thing with the damage. It went down by 2 points, I believe, down to 28, which it it's not the end of the world or anything. Like, Hitokiri will still be effective, but reading the developer comment on why they changed it was a little, or at least the damage was a little confusing for me. In the developer comment, they said that they wanted to make it so a Hitokiri, uh, who has a full stamina bar against a character with 120 health, like an assassin, doesn't make four correct reads and completely destroys that assassin. Because as of right now, what we have currently in the game before this John Who update, that's exactly what Hitokiri can do against characters with low health, especially if they make the correct reads. But it's weird because we're supposed to be moving into a more read your opponent kind of offense sort of thing, but there it seems like they're trying to punish people who are correctly reading their opponents and punishing them, or I guess, yeah, punishing would be the word. That's the word we're going to use. Punishing people who do fall into those little those reads. And it's just very weird because it feels like, in general, we're just kind of taking a step back. We've come so far and the game's much better off than how it used to be, but with the way that these Raider and Hitokiri changes have come, and reading the developer comments for these, it's a little worrying for me, especially since I like to be challenged, and I continue to stay with For Honor despite a lot of people. I play a lot of fours, and a lot of people just run away or they gank and stuff like that, and it's fours, it's to be expected. But despite that, I still like to be challenged. I expect to be challenged in some way, shape, or form. And if there is a strong character I have to go up against, even if I don't like said character, I don't mind it. Because at the end of the day, or at the end of that fight, I usually have something to take away from that fight. I usually can take some sort of piece of knowledge with me, and I can remember that. And because nobody knows everything, we're all still learning things. But it's just like, with these changes, and if they continue changes on a similar path, and they just kind of completely gut things and remove things, and they reduce stuff because people are reading their opponents correctly, and they don't want people to be ending fights so quickly because they read their opponent and the opponent played the trap card, or the opponent fell into the trap card, then it shows us a few things about the devs, and that things may not that things may be a little more difficult for them than as we initially thought. Because we all like to make jokes about the devs and everything like that, and I'm grateful for everything they've done, but if we're moving back towards like season 1, where we're still stuck in the heavy defensive meta, and offenses being punished, or offenses being easily punished, or it's just not very fun to use or something like that, and they just continue to make defensive characters, and it's like, at this point, why even bother trying to make characters defensive? Just make everybody a turtle machine, I guess, because that's already what we have in the game right now. But that's really all I've got to say about a couple of these changes. And then after that, there's some other changes, like some minor ones, like Warlord, which I don't understand why they keep slowly moving him up instead of just giving him something that'll last for a while. It would be very nice if they could do something like that. Orochi's getting some changes. I believe his his sprint speed has been raised, and then his running attack has also been changed to 600 milliseconds instead of 800. Shaman's getting some changes, and I believe that was pretty much it for like all the hero balance changes. So outside of Raider and Hitokiri, it's nothing too flashy, too interesting, just some nice little quality of life things, and I guess that's all we're really going to get for now. Hopefully things change soon, and we can get some more changes, and hopefully changes that just aren't there for the sake of making everything easier. We do, hopefully they can give us changes that challenge us in some way, shape, or form, so we can all get better. And that's really all I have to say about that.
And just remember, we all got opinions, and it's fine for everybody to have their own opinions. But if you want to talk about something, just express your opinion down below. Let's talk about it, and let's be civil about it. That's pretty much it.